a very different living with autism. Usually I try to do shorts with living with autism, but we're going to do a long video today. Why? Well, it's to do with stuff right behind me. That's a big piece of pegboard. Actually, there's two pieces of pegboard. There's a whole bunch of studs, a bunch of hardware, and some license plates. So, as most of you know, listening to the videos, I'm going to make a backdrop for living with autism. And it was going to be a little small backdrop at first, the plans in my head. And then I'm like, well, I'm going to have to buy a piece of pegboard. I don't make it and stand it up by end to end and make a big tall one, 8 foot tall. Well, logistically, weight-wise, so I'm going to turn it on its side and make a huge, portable, living the autism and other display because they'll be two-sided to make it easier and not to waste space. So I do in my head, I've had to tweak it a few times because I want to make it pretty strong, especially down the base, since this is going to be on wheels. I know, my fascination with wheels. I know, I get it. But that's what we're going to do today. So, as many of you hopefully seen with my other videos where I have museum maintenance, it'll kind of be that style. But we're going to go through it in the autism sense. Because a lot of us are really good builders. And we build with our minds. We take a problem, we can take it apart in our head, figure out all the pieces, put it back together and go, we can build it. And that's what we're kind of going to do today. Since I was going to first do a flat version where I had the studs kind of this way, but I want more strength and I want to be able to use better hardware. So I'm actually going to flip them. You'll see. You'll see. So yeah, well, first things first, we're going to map out our frame. Because the pegboard, if you want to use these top rows, you can't have wood behind it, and I'm not going to have any spacers. The frame is going to be screwed directly to the pegboard. So we're going to make sure I can access the very first row, and if you do the count, it's this one here, the third one from the end. This one too, we have to keep open to be able to do a line of plates across. So I'm going to build that frame. Since I'm going to do that, I'm going to have to actually shorten the main frames, because I'm going to have a stud here, a stud in the middle, a stud on the bottom, 2 studs at the end. Then I'm going to cut a stud down to go in between these 2 studs up here and down there. At the bottom, we're going to have like I've been going back and forth on this, but it's probably going to be a triangle base. From the bottom of the pegboard to the bottom, I'm going to have basically 4 foot span on the bottom to put the wheels on, attach a little mini triangle for some more ruggedness, because all that weight's being transferred down to that T intersection, because this is the stud, here's where the wheels are going to be. That's one of the main failure points, and we don't want this to fail. I think that's all the rambling I'm going to do before we get into it. So let's jump into it. Well guys, here we go. Since I don't have any template, any measurements, I put the pegboard face down, so I'm going to use this as a template. So I'll start grabbing supports and putting things together, and then start taking measurements and start taking some cuts. Let's go. To make life a lot easier, instead of trying to measure what I need to cut on that side and this side, I'm going to take 2 scraps, piece of wood. This is the measurement I have to cut out of these. I'm just going to cut, I'm going to mark on one side and cut. One cut, little jig, make it easier. Let's see if we can get this on camera. Okay, so we have the 3 studs in the middle cut, the 2 on the side that are going to be our legs. Something very important what we're going to do before starting to pre-drill and put this frame together is we're going to make sure all these studs will not block any of my hooks on my pegboard. I do mostly 12 by 6 plates. They follow a simple pattern. I think it's like 3, 5, 3, 5, and then it's the first one, 4, hook down. So we'll do that measurement before we start pre-drilling and figuring this out. So on to it. Okay, I'm going to pre-drill and screw in my top and my bottom, and then I'm going to fine-tune my middle one just based on how everything's going to look. Because I don't want to get any hooks in the way, but also I do want it to be kind of in the center for some support. Don't forget the screws, and squares are very helpful to make sure you get these corners right. If you don't think you can really use your square to your advantage here, we have these tools that make doing these corners a lot easier. And it holds your, let me get you a better shot of this, holds your boards right into place so you don't have to worry about it. Let's do a little pre-drilling. There we go. One down, a lot more to go. Okay, I have the outer frame all together, but since I don't have any drawings, measurements, I am actually going to put the other piece of pegboard on here, attach it, so I can dry fit my plates, at least one row of plates, to know where not to put that center support. And I'm going to put some side beams here, so I might need to really map this out beforehand. So let's do it. Okay, so I've laid some of my preferred J-hooks I'll be using. That way I can know where I want to put screws at, so I don't mess up my pattern. This is also going to help me gauge where I should put a center stud here for some support, and then across the middle too. So, let's get some holes drilled and some screws in. Okay, so I have my hooks laid out so I can get design of where everything's going to be so I can get those supports in without messing things up. And I'll get my screws in on top and bottom to get this held to the frame. So let's go. Okay, so this is mostly attached. I just get these cross members in. I'm going to just set it up on his legs right now so I can figure out where I want to go before taking these off. And we'll go from there. So I've marked where I want my crossbeam, and then I've marked 2 locations for here since one's going to be on one side, the other one's going to be the other, so I can screw those in successfully. I'm going to take out the hooks and get this laid back down on the opposite side so I can finish the framing and get the other side on before designing the feet. Like butter. Like butter. Right there, right where it's supposed to be. Now we're going to measure for our simple seam supports. First we're going to check our scrap end to make sure we don't have scrap wood that would work, and then we'll cut fresh if we need to. So I've marked where I want my crossbeam, and then I've marked 2 locations for here since one's going to be on one side, the other one's going to be the other, so I can screw those in successfully. I'm going to take out the hooks and get this laid back down on the opposite side so I can finish the framing and get the other side on before designing the feet. Okay, we have those center supports in, nice and sturdy. The other side of the pegboard we're going to have to come back to get some screws into there. But first, we're going to put the top on, get that all fastened before we'll go back to the other side. I might even put on the feet before doing that, but we'll see when we get there. Okay, so we have everything set up. We have our hooks in to see where we're going to put our screws in. Everything from there and there, from putting side supports on, look good so far. So let's go at it. Okay, we got that sheet attached. We'll worry about the other sheet for the middle section after we get these feet built. Do I have a clue what I'm doing? Nope. All I know is I got wheels, I got wood, and we're gonna make this work. I do have some extra hardware for some reinforcements. My first plan was a simple T, but now let me show you. Okay, my first plan was to make a simple T with some hardware, but I don't know if that's going to be strong enough. And I really always want to overbuild things, so I'm probably going to get some wood here. This is not the correct size, but this is just for demonstration. cut probably a 45 into the top here, so lay flush there, 45 here, and do basically a triangle from the bottom of the pegboard to the tip of, well, I'm going to call it the foot. It's going to take some measuring, some cutting, and a whole lot of luck. So let's get into it. Okay, so I have a piece of wood here, two 45s. It kind of lines up, but not the way I kind of want it. So, not really sure what I did. This is probably off just by a tad. Does this really matter? Probably not. This is not going to be on camera at all. And really, I'm just doing this for to make it sturdy. So, let's get it attached, I guess. Okay, well, I got this in. Problem is, if I put this in, the other side, I'm not going to be able to do that side. So I think I'm going to get the wheels on, and then get that half done, and then flip it up, and then finish the triangle on the other sides. So let's get that done. There we go. Wheels are on for this side. I'll have to do another brace once I get it up on its wheels. So, well, it's a little bigger when it's standing up. So, what do we gotta do? I gotta finish some brackets down here. I got to get center fastened to this side, and it's off the paint. Okay, goodness. Yep, on to it. Now for you guys wondering how I'm gonna end this thing. Well, I have a motorcycle jack that I use for moving the tables around and doing all this. So I'm just gonna jack it up. So then, no problems, right? There we go. Now down it goes. Off to the other side. Well, you made it this far. Besides paint, which I'm not going to bore you with, we need now to find my studs from here, here, and here, and put screws in, so that way it's much stronger. Why do I want to put all the screws in? Well, it's not to hold the pegboard up, kind of. Once you get all the weight on here of these license plates, it's going to take a strain on this board. So we want that extra support in the middle. So, but before I do that, I'm going to put some J-hooks in so I know where to put my screws in. Onto that. You know, instead of boring you by putting them all in, we're just going to... Excuse me, editor. Click means done and I stay in frame, not delete me from the scene. Anyway. Ta-da! We got the hooks in. Now we're going to pre-drill and put our screws in. Let's go. Okay. There you have it. Now, I'm probably not going to bore you with painting it or probably even showing you it painted. So we're gonna wrap up this video. We'll do some plate hangings in a different video, probably a short, because that's a more watched format than these long form videos. So I just want to say, for a lot of guys out there, you have the power to do this kind of stuff. You have the mind to build, to wire, to excavate. I can't pronounce dilly today. But you guys have the power to do these skills, because I've seen it. I've seen a lot of autistics in the trade. When I used to tutor for the WYCA, I tutored for the apprenticeship to do the exams to go to the next step. So a lot of guys are dyslexic, and you just don't realize you're also on the spectrum, which isn't really a big deal. Actually puts you an advantage in some places, because you can do like this off the top of your head, no directions, nothing. So you're a little quirky with eye contact and, well, dry humor. But hey, aren't we all? I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for the support. I am going to try to figure out how to do this autism plate for Wisconsin. Probably more of autism, neurodivergent. And this is going to be the new backboard to those shorts coming up. I have some already in the queue, so these will fill in once those videos are done, and I'll do a hanging. And I'm kind of out of writing D&Vs at this point, so I'm going to have to turn to eBay, and I'm probably going to have to tap some collectors to see if I can get help, buy an autistic plate, or trade for something. So we'll see. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support, and I'll see you later. Bye.